Hello everyone, welcome to our educational channel. Today's video is for secondary 2 students. Today we are going to talk about the grammar lesson of unit 14 in the O level. Our grammar lesson today is very important, so I hope all of you to pay all your attention. Our grammar lesson today is going to be about conditionals. So let's start. Pay your attention. Conditional sentences have 4 rules. The first one of them is called the zero conditional. What's the form of the zero conditional? Of course, we studied this before and we are going to revise it together quickly. The zero conditional is consisting of if plus present simple. The other sentence will be also present simple. And we use it for facts, to speak about facts, to express facts. Look at this example. If you boil water, some of it evaporates. Look at the two tenses. Both of them are present simple. If you boil water, some of it evaporates. And if you pay attention to this sentence, the meaning of the sentence, you will discover that this is a fact. Every time we boil water, every time some of it evaporates. Another sentence. If metals are heated, they expand. Here I have a question. Who can tell me what is the tense here in the first sentence? If metals are heated. Are heated? Of course, this is present simple, but in the passive form. So if metals are heated, this is also present simple. They expand, and this is also a fact. But I want all of you to know that not all facts are scientific ones. There are facts about your life. Look at this sentence. If I need help, I usually ask my father. This is a fact about me. Every time I need help, I usually ask my father. When I speak about the zero conditional, I don't express any certain time. I speak about every time. Every time in the past, at present, or in the future, I can use the zero conditional to speak about repeated situations, the repeated situation that can happen at any time. Pay attention to this important thing. We can use when instead of if in the zero conditional. So with all these examples, you can cancel if and use when. Now let's move to the first conditional. What is the rule of the first conditional? I want somebody of you to tell me. Yes, that's right. If plus present simple, the other sentence will contain will plus infinitive. Remember, we use it for things that are probable, and this is an important difference between the first conditional and the zero conditional. With the zero conditional, we were talking about facts, something that you are sure it must happen. But here we are talking about something that is probable. It can happen and it cannot, maybe or may not. If you study hard, you will pass the exams. This is something probable to happen in the future, but it's not a fact. We can use it also for promises. When you want to promise someone, you need to use the first conditional. Look at this example. If you pass the exam, I will give you a new mobile. If you pass the exam, my promise is, I will give you a new mobile. We can also use it for threats. When you want to threaten somebody, you use the first conditional. Look at this. If you don't keep quiet, I will punish you. If you don't keep quiet, I will punish you. So remember, we use the first conditional to speak about the future, something that is probable to happen in the future. Notice, if you see Frank, give him a message for me, please. And the rule here, the second part of the sentence may be an order, and so it can begin with a verb in the infinitive. If you see Frank, give him a message for me, please. Another form of the first conditional, look at this example. If you go to London, it is possible to find work there. If you go to London, it's possible to find work there. The other part of the sentence contains it is plus adjective plus to plus infinitive. That's all about the first conditional. Now let's move to the second conditional. And the form of the second conditional is if plus past simple, the other sentence will contain would plus infinitive. Here we use the past simple as a form, but not as a meaning. Here the past simple doesn't express the past, and so we call this unreal past. Remember the expression unreal past, because it's a past form but not a past meaning. We use it for imaginary situation at present. So we use the second conditional to speak about present, not about the past. Don't get confused. If I had enough money, I would buy a car. Some students may say, when I see the word had, I say that this is the past perfect. Of course, this is not correct, because the past perfect needs had plus pp. But here we have had as a main verb. It's the past form from the verb have. If I had enough money, I would buy a car. In fact, I don't have enough money and I can't buy a car, so this is just imaginary situation. If I were a bird, and of course this is impossible to happen, I'm just imagining. If I were a bird, I would fly in the sky. Another sentence, if I won £1 million, I would give them to charity. So in these three sentences, they are imaginary situations at present. Remember, we can also use the second condition to give advice. Look at this sentence. I think all of us use this expression. If I were you, I would. If I were you, I would tell him the truth. Remember, one word, we use the second conditional to speak about present. We use the second conditional to speak about present. Now let's move to the third conditional. What about the form if, past perfect? The other sentence will be would have be plus past participle. Once more, if past perfect, would have plus past participle. Of course, we use it to speak about the past. We use the third conditional to speak about the past. Look at this example. If I had studied hard, I would have passed the exam. Here we are speaking about a person who regrets not studying in the past. In fact, he didn't study in the past, and he regrets this. So he says, if I had studied hard, I would have passed the exam. Do you understand that he passed the exam or not? Yes, he didn't pass the exam. I have another example. If they had played well, they would have won the match. I'm speaking about the team I supported yesterday. They lost the match because they played very badly. So today when you ask me about my opinion, I will say if they had played well, I'm speaking about yesterday's match, so I'm speaking about the past. If they had played well, they would have won the match. Now let's move to a very important part of today's grammar lesson. Sometimes we can delete, sometimes we can omit if and use something else. There are some words that we can use instead of if, and we call this omission of if. Pay attention. Number one, should. We can use should instead of if. Maybe you will think that this is something strange, but it's a rule. We can use should instead of if. Look at this example. If he passes the exam, he will join the university. Here I have a question. Which conditional do we have here? Is it first, second, or third? Yes, it's first. And I want all of you to know that we can use should instead of if only with first and second conditionals only. We don't use it with zero conditional. We don't use it with the third conditional. How can we use should instead of if here? Look here. Should he pass? And of course, the rule, I want all of you to write this rule. We can use should instead of if. Should plus subject plus infinitive. Of course, we know that should is followed by infinitive. Should he pass the exam, he will join the university. That was number one. Number two, to use where instead of if. We can use where instead of if. And remember that to use where instead of if, this only happens with the second conditional. And in this situation, we have two possibilities. Either to have were as the main verb of the sentence, or we have another verb. If we have were, look at this example. If he were rich, he would be able to travel abroad. If he were rich, he would be able to travel abroad. Look at the first part of the sentence. The main verb is were. We can use were instead of if in this way. Look at the answer. Were he rich, he would be able to travel abroad. Were he rich, he would be able to travel abroad. And it gives the same meaning as the first one. Sometimes we have a sentence in the second conditional, but the main verb is something else, like this one. If he took the 7 o'clock train, he would arrive in time. Once more, if he took the 7 o'clock train, he would arrive in time. Here the main verb took, the past from take. How can we use were instead of if? Look at this. Were he to take the 7 o'clock train, he would arrive in time. Were he to take the 7 o'clock train. In your copybooks, write this rule. Were plus subject plus to plus infinitive. This is to replace if with were. Were he to take the 7 o'clock train. That was number 2. Let's move to number 3. To use had instead of if. To use had instead of if. We can use had instead of if in two situations. Number 1, when you are in the second conditional and the main verb is had. Like this example. If I had money, I'd buy a car. If I had money, I'd buy a car. And it's very simple to use had instead of if. Look at the answer. Simply, I need to say, had I money. Had I money, I would buy a car. Sometimes we can use had instead of if with the third conditional. Look at this example. If he had got up early, if he had got up early, he would have caught the train. We can use had instead of if in this way. Pay attention. We can say, had he got up early. Once more, had he got up early, he would have caught the train. We can use in case of. We can use in case of instead of if with all conditionals, but it must be a positive sentence, an affirmative one. Look at this example. If he arrives tomorrow, he will meet us. If he arrives tomorrow, here this sentence is in the first conditional. Even if it is in the second or the third conditional, it can be replaced by in case of. And remember, after in case of, you must use either a noun or verb ing. Write this please. In case of plus a noun or verb with ing. So who can use it here? I want you to say, yes, that's right. In case of arriving tomorrow. In case of arriving tomorrow, he will meet us. Without and but for instead of if. Without and but for instead of if. We can use without and but for instead of if in the negative sentences. If is followed by a negative sentence, so you can use without and but for. If he doesn't get help, he won't finish his work. If he doesn't get help, he won't finish his work. Here we have if plus a negative sentence, and so we can use without. Remember, also without is followed by either verb with ing or a noun. Without getting help. Without getting help, he won't finish his work. The last point, sometimes we have conditionals without if. Conditionals without if. So the meaning, but we don't have if. Look at this. We can use a number of phrases to express conditions, but without using if. Like this example, provided that you have finished your experiment, you may leave the lab. Provided that here equals if. It has the same meaning as if. Another one, when I say, as long as there are problems, people will look for solutions. As long as here is the same meaning as if. As long as we can replace it with if. We can say if there are problems, they are the same meaning. I won't be able to finish the research unless you help me. Of course, remember, unless equals if not. I won't be able to finish the research if you don't help me. And we can cancel if and the negative to use unless. I won't be able to finish the research unless you help me. Watch how I do it, otherwise you will make a mistake. Once more, watch how I do it, otherwise you will make a mistake. Remember, otherwise equals if not. Equals if not. It's the same meaning as the word or. Supposing the experiment doesn't work, what will you do? Supposing, sometimes we can call it also suppose. Both of them are correct. Supposing the experiment doesn't work, what will you do? Of course, supposing equals imagine or what if. Okay? Another form of conditionals without if is to use the affirmative or the order to give the meaning of conditionals. Like when I say, ask me the time once more, and I will get very angry. To use infinitive structure to replace if. Ask me the time once more, and I will get very angry. Okay?